In a quiet village, the night held secrets. A young man walked alone along the dark path from the market. Villagers whispered that fairies and spirits lived in the bamboo groves. Tonight, curiosity and courage guided him toward a mysterious light that would change his life forever. Then, let's begin tonight's mysterious story. Once there was a village. In that village lived a young man. He was handsome, intelligent, and brave. One day at the dead of night, he was returning home from the market. The market was almost 7 kilometers away from the village. The night was silent, and darkness covered everything. No vehicles, no lamps, only the sound of his footsteps echoed on the dry road. The villagers used to say that the road was cursed. They believed that spirits and fairies lived in the jungle on both sides. Many people had seen shadows crossing the road late at night. Still, the young man kept walking, step by step. Soon he reached a thick bamboo grove. The old people of the village often said, "That's where they live." At that moment, 3 bamboos were leaning across the road. Suddenly, from inside the bushes, a strange light appeared. It was as small as a firefly, but softer than moonlight. The young man called out in fear, "Who is there?" No answer. He called again, "Who is there?" After a few seconds, a sweet voice came. I am a girl." The young man's heart trembled. "Come forward," he said. Out of the bushes came a girl. No, not just a girl, an otherworldly sight. Her face glowed like the freshness of morning dew, her eyes deep as the night sky. The young man's heart skipped a beat. He asked gently, "Who are you? Are you from this village?" The girl smiled faintly, but there was sadness in her eyes. "No, I am only a guest here. I lost my way and cannot go home." The young man looked at the dark jungle around and said, "It's 3 o'clock in the night. It's not safe to be alone here. Come with me. My mother will help you." The girl looked deep into his eyes. Then, in a soft voice, she said, "Let's go." They were walking side by side. But the young man noticed something. Her footsteps made no sound. Though it was dark, her body gave off a gentle glow. Around her floated a strange fragrance, like jasmine flowers blooming at night. His heart wanted to believe she was human, but something inside told him, no, this girl was not of this world. Yet her beauty, her voice, her mysterious gaze, he was falling in love with her all. "What is your name?" he whispered. The girl smiled softly. "Not every name can be spoken under this sky. But if you want, you may call me Noor, because I am made of light." The young man's heart pounded. She was a fairy. The wind howled around them, and strange shadows moved between the trees, as if the jungle itself was watching. But with Noor's light beside him, he felt no fear. As they neared the village, Noor stopped. "I cannot go any further." He was surprised. "Why not?" Noor gave a faint smile. "Because this world is not mine, but the kindness you showed me tonight, I will never forget. Whenever you look at the moon, remember me." As soon as she finished speaking, a stormy wind blew. The light around Noor suddenly burst out like thousands of fireflies. The young man stood there, his hands empty, but his heart full. After that night, he never saw her again. But whenever, at 3 in the night, he smelled the fragrance of jasmine, he felt that Noor had returned, and he knew that his heart had fallen in love with a fairy forever. Days turned into months, months into years. Yet in his mind, Noor lived every day. When night grew deep, he walked to the bamboo grove, hoping to see that light again. But every time, he returned with empty hands. One full moon night, the sky was bright with silver light. On the top of a mountain, a familiar fragrance drifted through the air. Yes, the smell of jasmine. The young man's heart trembled. He knew Noor had returned. Standing by the bamboo grove, he suddenly saw a glow. Slowly, Noor appeared from that light, his eyes filled with tears. You really came?" Noor smiled, her sweet voice saying, "You called me every day. How couldn't I come?" They sat together under the shadow of the bamboo grove. In the silence of the night, only the sound of crickets and their breaths could be heard. He whispered, "I have fallen in love with you. I know you are not of this world, but I cannot imagine my life without you." A strange light shone in Noor's eyes. "I too have fallen in love with you, but our love does not follow the laws of this world. You are of earth. I am of light. We are forbidden to be together." He held her hand. Surprisingly, her hand was warm, just like a human's. I am not afraid. Even if the world keeps us apart, I will stay with you. Tears filled Nora's eyes. You don't know how much danger lies ahead. My world's guardians are searching for me. If they find out I love a human, they will take me away forever. And you... She could not finish her sentence. Suddenly, the wind roared around them. The bamboos shook, and it felt as if an unseen force was approaching. Noor cried out in fear. They are coming. You must hide. But he shook his head. No, I will not leave you. A terrible voice echoed through the air. Human, you have crossed the forbidden line. Noor wept. No, please. He is innocent. Love is not crime. The voice thundered again. Not love, but rebellion. At that moment, he pulled Noor close. If this is rebellion, then I will live this rebellion forever. You are mine. I am yours. Light burst out from Noor's body. So bright, the sky itself seemed to burn. The unseen power faded away. Noor said with a trembling voice, You saved me. Your courage gave me strength. From now on, no one can separate us. But remember, our path will never be easy. One day, this love may even change your life. He looked into her eyes and simply said, My life is complete as long as you are with me. From that night, Noor never disappeared again. She did not appear before others, but in the depth of night, in the shadow of the bamboo grove, they always met, one human boy and one fairy of light. Their love was forbidden, yet it became immortal. The young man's life changed forever. By day, he lived like any other villager, working, eating, laughing. But at night, his life belonged to another world. At 3 in the night, Noor would wait for him at the bamboo grove. Sometimes they walked under the moon. Sometimes they sat in the glow of fireflies. Suddenly, he held her hand and asked, You are not just a dream, are you? If you are, then I never want to wake up. Noor smiled and replied, I am not a dream. I am light. But your love has made me as real as the earth. An unbreakable bond grew between them. Yet both knew that one day, their secret could no longer stay hidden. One night, as they sat by the grove, Noor suddenly felt the air grow heavy. Fear showed in her eyes. They are searching for us again, she whispered. The young man looked around but saw nothing. Only shadows moved between the bamboo leaves, as though invisible eyes were watching. Noor said, Our love has broken the rules of my world. They want to take me back and erase you. His voice was steady. I fear no one. If you want to stay with me, I am ready to fight the whole world. Tears rolled down Noor's cheeks. But what if I lose you? He gripped her hand tightly. Then take me with you. You are light. I am earth. We will stay together, wherever it may be. The next night, a blinding light burst out from the bamboo grove. A thunderous voice cried, Noor, you have broken our rules. You must return. No bond with a human is possible. Noor cried, No, I will not return. I love him. The voice roared again. Then, the human must be destroyed. Lightning struck, the ground shook, and a dark shadow stood before the young man. Before he could react, it rushed at him. But Noor stood in front, shielding him. Her light spread, pushing the shadow back. She turned to him and said, If I want to stay with you forever, I must give something up. If I leave the world of light, I must bind myself to earth. Then I will be yours forever, but I will no longer remain light. He whispered in a trembling voice, Whatever you become, I only want you. Noor placed her hands on his chest. Tears of light fell from her eyes. Suddenly, his body shone like fire, while Noor's glow began to fade. With a weak voice, she said, From today, I belong to your world. I am becoming human, but there is a price. My life will be short. As light, I could live for hundreds of years. As human, only a few. Still, I choose this. Tears filled his eyes as he held her tight. Stay with me as long as you live. I will never leave you. From then on, Noor lived with him in the village, like an ordinary woman. Nobody knew she was once a fairy made of light. They would walk in the fields, by the river, laughed under the moon. But in the young man's heart, fear always lingered. Time was running out. Years later, Noor's body grew weak. On her last night, she lay with her head on his lap and said, I know my time has come, but I am happy, because I lived as a human with you. Even as light, I would not have received such love. The young man wept. You cannot leave me. Nor smiled gently and touched his face. I am not leaving. I will stay in your heart. Whenever you smell jasmine at night, know that I am with you. With those words, her body turned into one last flash of light and faded into the sky. The young man sat there, empty-handed, but his heart glowed with an eternal love. Even today, villagers say, if someone walks by the bamboo grove at midnight and suddenly smells jasmine in the air, they would know that the young man and his fairy still walk together under the moonlight. And that was tonight's mysterious tale. The night hides countless secrets, and we will uncover them together. Subscribe now to never miss a magical journey.